Over the years, as I woke up and left Christianity and began walking toward Yah and His truth, one topic has stood out above almost every other topic: the Sabbath. I've had people tell me that I'm not part of the remnant because I'm not keeping the Sabbath correctly. I've been told that because the Sabbath is a sign, I cannot be one of Yah's people if I don't observe it the way they do, or observe it at all. And right now, among those who have been called out, this subject seems to be exploding. People are arguing about which day is correct, when it begins, when it ends, and who is truly keeping it. But instead of discouraging me, I'm actually glad this conversation is happening. Because when a topic creates this much division, confusion, and debate among people who are sincerely seeking Yah, I stop and ask a different question. What are we not seeing? If Yah has one truth, why are there so many different answers? Some people keep the Sabbath from Friday evening to Saturday evening. Others keep it from Saturday morning to Saturday evening. Some follow a lunar cycle Sabbath. Some follow the traditional Jewish Sabbath. Some follow the teachings of the Seventh-day Adventists. Others follow different calendars altogether. Yet many of these people are convinced that Yah showed them the correct way. So I had to stop and ask myself a question. Can all of these different positions be right? Someone has to be wrong. And if someone is wrong, how do we know who is right? Because if there is one thing our history should have taught us, it is that following the teachings of men is what got us into this mess in the first place. I don't want to follow a denomination. I don't want to follow a movement. I don't want to follow a teacher. I want to know what Yah said. So I went back to the Torah. I wanted to go back to the first time Yah revealed the Sabbath to the children of Israel. And when I did, I found something very interesting. The first time the Sabbath was revealed to the nation, Yah taught it through the manna in the wilderness. So today, instead of arguing about who is right and who is wrong, let's go back and look at the story. Let's look at the manna. But before we do, I want to ask a question. What is manna? When the children of Israel first saw it in the wilderness, they didn't know what they were looking at. Exodus 16, verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, Man, who? For they did not know what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which Yah has given you to eat. The Hebrew phrase is man who, and it means, what is it? Think about that. The very thing Yah used to teach Israel about the Sabbath was first introduced through a question. The people did not start keeping Sabbath because of certainty. They did not begin with a doctrine. They did not begin with a calendar. They did not begin with a teacher. They began with a question. Manu, what is it? And maybe that's where we need to begin as well. Not by defending what we've been taught, not by arguing with one another, but by going back to the wilderness and looking carefully at how Yah first revealed the Sabbath to His people. Exodus 16, verses 2 through 4. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would that we had died by the hand of Yah in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then Yah says to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain amount every day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my Torah or not. So before the manna ever appears, Yah tells Moses that this bread from heaven is going to be a test. Not just food, a test. A lesson, a way of teaching His people whether they will walk in His instruction or not. And something else caught my attention. At this point in the story, Israel has not yet arrived at Mount Sinai. The stone tablets have not yet been given. Yet Yah says that I may test them, whether they will walk in my Torah or not. Before the people ever stand at Sinai, Yah is already teaching them through the manna. The manna becomes the classroom. The wilderness becomes the lesson, and the Sabbath becomes part of what Yah is teaching His people through the bread from heaven. Exodus 16, verse 13 through 15. And it came to pass in the evening that quail came up and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay around about the camp. And when the dew that lay had gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, Manna, for they did not know what it was. Notice something important there. The manna did not simply appear. First came the dew. Then, when the dew lifted, the manna was revealed. The manna was hidden until it was revealed. And when the people finally saw it, they asked, Manna? What is it? Exodus 16 verses 22 through 23. And it came to pass on the 6th day that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omars for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is what Yah has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yah. The whole congregation was experiencing the manna together. The whole congregation saw the manna. The whole congregation gathered the manna. The whole congregation saw the pattern. And when the rulers came to Moses, he explained what Yah was doing. The first Sabbath lesson was not hidden. It was not divided. It was not revealed through competing opinions. Yah revealed it to the entire congregation through the manna. Everyone was seeing the same exact sign. Everyone was experiencing the same pattern. And Moses declared, Tomorrow is the holy Sabbath unto Yah. Exodus 16, verses 29 through 30. See, because Yah has given you the Sabbath, therefore he gives you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. So the people rested on the 7th day. Notice what Yah says. He did not say, figure out which day the Sabbath is. Yah did not say, debate among yourselves. Yah did not say, look up at the moon and that will tell you. He did not say, look at your Gregorian calendar. It's always been on Saturday. No. Yah said, Yah has given you the Sabbath. The Sabbath was revealed through the manna. The manna identified the Sabbath. The manna taught the Sabbath. And because Yah established the pattern, the people rested. Exodus 16, verses 32 through 34. Then Moses said, This is the thing which Yah has commanded. Fill an omar with it to be kept throughout your generations, so that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt. And Moses said to Aaron, Take a jar and put an omar full of manna in it, and place it before Yah, to be kept throughout your generations. As Yah commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. So wait a minute, why did Yah do that? Out of everything that happened in the wilderness, why preserve the manna? Why put it before the testimony? Why keep it for future generations? Because this wasn't just bread. This was how Yah taught his people. Remember what we just read? The manna revealed the Sabbath. The manna identified the Sabbath. The manna showed the pattern, the count. And then Yah said, preserve it. Remember it. Remember the Sabbath. Place it before the testimony. Keep it for your generations. Why? Because future generations would need to remember what happened in the wilderness. They would need to remember how Yah fed his people. They would need to remember how Yah taught his people. And they would need to remember how Yah revealed the Sabbath through the manna. This is a powerful witness. And now notice what Yah says next about the Sabbath. Exodus 31, verse 13. Surely my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yah who sanctifies you. Read that carefully. Yah did not say the Sabbath is a sign that we sanctify ourselves. Yah said, the Sabbath is a sign that I am Yah who sanctifies you. The sign points to Yah. The sign points back to the one doing the sanctifying. The sign points back to the one setting his people apart. Joshua 3, verse 5. And Joshua said unto the people, Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Yah will do wonders among you. Before Israel crossed the Jordan, before they entered the land, before they received their inheritance, Joshua told them, Sanctify yourselves. The people were preparing to enter the land. The people were being set apart. The people were getting ready for what Yah was about to do. And that caught my attention also, because the Sabbath is a sign that Yah sanctifies his people. The people prepared themselves, but Yah is the one who sanctifies. The people respond. Yah performs the wonder. The people step forward. Yah opens the way. Joshua 5 verses 10 through 12. And the children of Israel kept the Passover, and they ate of the produce of the land. Then the manna ceased on the day after that they had eaten the produce of the land. For 40 years Yah fed his people with manna in the wilderness. The manna taught them. The manna sustained them. The manna revealed the Sabbath. And then, after they crossed the Jordan and entered the land, the manna ceased. As I finish this study, I don't claim to have any answers, but I do know this. When Yah first revealed the Sabbath, he did it through the manna. The manna revealed the Sabbath, and the Sabbath was given as a sign that Yah is the one who sanctifies his people. Then before Israel entered the land, Joshua said, Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Yah will do wonders among you. Maybe that message still speaks to us today. Prepare yourself, Israel. Humble yourself before Yah. Seek his face. Ask him to show you what you cannot see on your own. Because if Yah gathered his people once, he can gather them again, and he will. If Yah taught his people once, he can teach them again, and he will. If Yah sanctified his people once, he can sanctify them again, and he will. And there is a second Exodus coming. Perhaps we should pay close attention to the first one, because the first Exodus may contain the pattern we need for the second. So I leave you with the same question that Israel asked in the wilderness. Manhu, what is it? May Yah open our eyes to see.